International politics is often a chess match, but last week, the United States flipped the board. The White House announced sweeping sanctions against Russia's energy giants, Rosneft and Lukoil, a direct strike at the core of Russia's economy. The move sent shockwaves through global markets, raising urgent questions about energy security and the future of the global order. Unlike previous sanctions, this is a dramatic escalation, targeting Russia's most vital sector just days before the G20 summit. The US is betting it can cripple Russia's ambitions without catastrophic fallout for the global economy or its allies. But Russia is prepared, having built financial defenses and global partnerships for years. This is a new front in a long, simmering conflict, fought not with tanks, but with financial weapons and trade restrictions. The rules of the game have changed, and the world is watching to see how Russia and its partners will respond. The aftershocks of this decision will shape the global landscape for years to come. Why now? Why has Washington chosen this moment to act so decisively, and what's really at stake behind the headlines? The US points to a pattern of Russian interference, relentless cyber attacks, and a growing disregard for international law as the final straws. These aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a broader campaign that Washington says threatens global stability. Previous rounds of sanctions failed to deter Moscow's ambitions. So now, Washington is escalating, targeting the financial lifeblood of the Russian state, its vast oil and gas sector, which fuels both its economy and its influence abroad. By hitting energy giants like Rosneft and Lukoil, the US aims to choke off the revenue streams that fund Russia's military operations and its global ambitions, hoping to force a change in behavior. The strategy isn't just about punishing past actions, it's about weakening Russia's ability to project power in the future, and sending a message to other would-be challengers. Experts are calling this a potential game changer. These new sanctions isolate Russia's energy sector from the global financial system, making it nearly impossible to do business in dollars or access Western markets. The US hopes this bold move will force a shift in Russian policy, serve as a warning to other nations considering similar actions, and reassert American leadership on the world stage. But the risks are enormous. This could push Russia even closer to China, accelerate the creation of rival financial systems, and fracture the world order in unpredictable ways. The White House is walking a tightrope, balancing pressure with diplomacy, as the world's eyes remain fixed on every move and every statement. The outcome of this high-stakes gamble will determine whether Washington's strategy reshapes global power dynamics, or backfires, with consequences that could reverberate for years. The stakes are nothing less than the future of international stability, with peace and prosperity hanging in the balance. Washington's gamble could redefine the rules of the international system for decades to come, setting a precedent for how the world responds to aggression and power plays. These sanctions are a multi-pronged assault, not a simple embargo. They're designed to hit Russia's energy giants from every possible angle: financial, operational, and reputational, making it nearly impossible for them to function as they once did. All US citizens and entities are banned from any transactions with Rosneft and Lukoil. No payments, no equipment, no investments. This means American companies can't buy their oil, supply them with technology, or even provide basic financial services. This severs them from the world's largest economy and its capital markets, cutting off access to vital investment and credit. The ripple effect is immediate. Stock prices tumble, and investor confidence evaporates. US-held assets of these companies are frozen, locking up capital and sending a chilling message to global banks. Billions of dollars are suddenly out of reach, and the threat of further asset seizures looms large. But the most powerful tool is secondary sanctions. Any foreign company doing significant business with Rosneft or Lukoil risks being cut off from the US financial system. This isn't just a warning, it's a direct threat to their survival in the global marketplace. This forces international banks and firms to choose: deal with Russia and lose access to the dollar, or comply with US rules and abandon Russian contracts. For many, the choice is clear. The dollar is the lifeblood of global trade. The goal is to make Rosneft and Lukoil radioactive in global finance. No one wants to touch them, not even indirectly, for fear of being blacklisted themselves. As one expert put it, not just turning the screws, it's taking a sledgehammer to the machine. Now if the intent is to break the system, not just slow it down. The US is leveraging the dollar's dominance to enforce its will far beyond its borders. The reach of American financial power is almost unmatched. touching every corner of the globe. The message is clear: you're either with us or with them. There's little room for neutrality in this new economic order. This approach could reshape how global business is done. Companies everywhere are rethinking their strategies, weighing risks, and reconsidering old alliances. The world's financial system is now a battlefield, where deals and dollars are weapons as powerful as any military force. The consequences will ripple far and wide, affecting not just Russia but economies, companies, and ordinary people around the world. Moscow's response was swift: outrage, defiance, and threats. President Putin condemned the sanctions as economic warfare and vowed Russia would not yield to Western pressure. Behind the rhetoric, the Kremlin is scrambling to respond, hinting at restricting exports of critical materials and possible cyber retaliation. The main strategy pivot energy exports from the west to the east, accelerating deals with India and China. Russia plans new pipelines and discounted oil for Asian buyers, aiming to build a parallel energy market less vulnerable to US pressure. But rerouting oil is costly and slow, and India and China are wary of risking US sanctions. Putin is betting economic incentives will win out, forging a coalition to challenge the US-led system. The success of this pivot depends on decisions in New Delhi and Beijing. Russia's next moves will shape the global response. The effectiveness of US sanctions now hinges on India and China, two energy giants with deep ties to Moscow. As the West tightens its grip on Russia, all eyes are on these two nations, whose decisions could tip the balance of global power. India faces a tough choice: cheap Russian oil versus its growing partnership with the US. The lure of discounted energy is strong, especially as India seeks to fuel its rapid economic growth and meet the needs of its vast population. Its tradition of strategic autonomy and reliance on Russian military hardware complicate the decision. Decades of defense cooperation with Moscow have made Russia a key supplier, and shifting away could impact India's security and diplomatic leverage. For China, the calculus is different. As the world's second-largest economy, China's relationship with Russia is both a strategic partnership and a counterweight to Western influence. Supporting Russia could strengthen its hand against the US, but risks secondary sanctions that could hit its global businesses. China's vast export markets and international investments are at stake, making the decision fraught with risk. Both nations must weigh economic benefits against the risk of being cut off from the dollar-based system. The global financial network is deeply interconnected, and exclusion could have far-reaching consequences for growth and stability. Defying the US could mean losing access to Western markets and facing political fallout. The threat of sanctions looms large, potentially disrupting trade, investment, and diplomatic relations. Washington is forcing a choice: align with the established order or gamble on a new bloc led by Russia and China. The stakes are not just economic, but also about the future shape of global alliances and influence. Their decisions will determine if the sanctions isolate Russia or fracture the global system. A misstep could trigger a realignment of power, with unpredictable consequences for international stability. The world is watching as India and China weigh their options. Every move is scrutinized by markets, governments, and ordinary citizens alike, all aware that history is being made. The outcome could reshape alliances and global power for decades. New partnerships may emerge, and old ones could be tested as the world adapts to shifting realities. This is a defining moment for both nations. The stakes are enormous, not just for India and China, but for the entire world order. The next moves will echo worldwide, shaping the future for generations to come. These sanctions could fundamentally reshape global energy and finance. We may see a split one bloc trading within the US-led system, another around Russia and China. Russian oil could trade at a discount, but with high risk. Free oil would be safer but pricier. This two-tiered market would make energy more volatile and force countries to make political choices with every deal. The dollar's dominance is being tested. By weaponizing it, the US may push others to seek alternatives. Russia and China are already developing systems to bypass the dollar. If enough trade shifts away from the dollar, American economic power could erode. The world could move toward multiple currency blocks, increasing complexity and instability. These sanctions are a stress test for the global system. The future of finance may be more fragmented than ever. The sanctions' impact was immediate. Oil prices surged over 10% in a day, the sharpest jump in a year. Fears of lost Russian supply sent shockwaves through markets, driving up gasoline prices and fueling inflation worldwide. Political leaders now face public anger over rising costs and economic uncertainty. The White House is coordinating with other oil producers, but it's unclear if that will stabilize prices. Meanwhile, Russian markets plunged, the ruble hit record lows, and Rosneft and Lukoil lost billions in value. Investors fear broader sanctions, spreading volatility across global stock markets. Higher energy prices threaten growth and raise recession risks. Companies exposed to Russia are seeing their stocks tumble. The world economy is bracing for a turbulent ride. As the dust settles, one question looms. Is this the dawn of a new Cold War, fought with sanctions, not soldiers? The US and its allies wield financial power. Russia and China seek to build an alternative order. If the sanctions succeed, US dominance is reinforced, and challengers are warned. If they fail, American power could wane, and a multipolar world may emerge. The weaponization of the dollar could backfire, eroding its reserve status. These sanctions are a gamble on the future of the global order. Washington bets the system is strong enough to be a weapon. Moscow bets it can break free. The choices made now will shape whether the world moves toward cooperation or deeper conflict. The next chapter in global power is being written right now.